Moving along, what's a funnel and why you must have one? Imagine that someone came up to a sister basically and says, this is someone new, they just met him for the first time, and he says, "Sister, you're very beautiful, will you marry me?" Will you marry me? You've tried it before. And then she says, "Well, let me think about it." He's like, "Give your excuses a black eye. Marry me now. Click here to marry. Click here to be married now." All right? So some people, when they do their businesses, they're so freaked out, that's exactly how they do their business. Here is my $8,000 product, and this is the first time you've ever met the person, and you're saying, "Buy my product now at $8,000. And they're like, "Dude, let's go out for dinner a couple of times before you sell me this $8,000 product. Send me a few emails or something like that." Okay. If you look at the work for fun, will work for fun, that section, and how it was, you have an ebook, you have a newsletter, tie them together, give them for free, and now on a recurring basis, people are getting in communication with you. That is an example of the beginning of your funnel. The beginning of your funnel. What is a funnel, basically? You're working your way, collecting, bringing people into your system. Bringing people into your system. And then once they get into the system, then you start taking them down the funnel to more specific products. Now, those products can get more expensive. Sometimes they can get cheaper. It depends on what you're dealing with. I'll give you an example of, cheaper to more expensive, such as, you have... so let's suppose people are coming together through newsletters, and you've done some workshops, and you've collected emails from the workshops. You've done a couple of things. You're on TV, and then people basically are getting in contact with you. People who are interested in what you're doing, and they're coming into your system. Now that they're in your system, then you start offering them some inexpensive products. So, for example, you have a book. A lot of authors and people out there, I've given the example of a book. Some of you guys have mentioned that you don't know how to write. The book costs $9.95. Some of you said you don't know how to write. You don't necessarily have to write a book. What you can do is, if you can give lectures, you give a lecture and you have someone write out the notes. So they're called a ghost writer. So for example, in a lecture like this, someone could basically be listening to me, and they're just typing away, and they're very professional in putting the book together. I don't have to write the book. At the end of the day, the book is created for me. Or you can have a compilation type of book, right? You have a book that's like the greatest quotes dealing with baby blankets, for example. And then it's just great people, mothers, and what they've said about baby blankets. And everybody's like, "Wow, I'd love to get it. Oh, did you get this book? It's so good." And they start sharing it with each other, right? So people start coming in, and now you start, I'm just giving an example with a book, but it could be something very small. You started the people off. Obviously, I'm talking about information marketing here, information sales, but you can do it with bigger products as well, and I'll explain that afterwards, going the other way where it's expensive to cheaper. So you have a book. After a book, you might have, for example, kind of like a very cheap mentorship program, something like that, $47 one time, $47, right, mentorship. Maybe you have a software, a piece of software. Now this is a product, but it's still a digital download type of product, something related to baby blankets, a software that they can customize their own blankets, for example. The software costs, let's say, $197. And then other people, they really like this idea and they love the company and they're really great and stuff like that. They want to know how they can open their own baby business and stuff like that. And then the brother starts opening up a seminar for mothers who like crafts, right? And they're the master at it because this is their business. How much does the seminar cost? Let's say it's $497. From the seminar, they need some instruction. Maybe they have a craft certification. They become the beforblanky.com certification. How much does that cost? It cost $17,000. How many people do you need to come to that seminar to make it profitable? Why not one? That's right. You exclusive mentorship here, right? So you have, for example, a training. Brother Naeem becomes the head CEO of that. Everybody wants to talk to him, and they have to pay minutes and thousands of dollars just to speak to him. And then he says, he has elite platinum mentorship where it's like 60,000 per person. And they get together 3 times a year on the island of Hawaii. I would like to go. Does it happen with the Naim? No, but it does happen. Yeah, it does happen. I'm talking about real people here. Yeah, so elite, so it's like platinum clubs. Yeah, it does happen for real. And some of these clubs, they're like 30, even I thought about joining some of these clubs. That's why I'm talking about it. It's like 32,000 per person, and they got like 200 members, right? And probably a waiting list at that. So it can work out. Again, that's your niche market to the max. So as you can see here, it's a funnel. How many products do you have? Naeem, how many products do you actually sell? Is it more than one? It's obviously you have blankets, but is it multiple varieties of blankets? Other than blankets? Okay, but it's just the blankets. How much does a blanket go for? Okay, so do you have any other different prices for blankets? Okay, so for example, in the case of Naeem, he has a blanket that's going for $35.99. Maybe that's a steep step. And Brother Naeem has actually mentioned to me that he has blankets that they give for free. Mother has birth, she gets like a customized blanket for free at the hospital, right? So that a sample blanket, right? But at least, that's a sample. You're getting them into the filter. She now hears about the blanket. It's a filter. Now the first blanket that she's going to buy is $35. Maybe he could have, for example, a pillowcase, a customized pillowcase that's only $10. So the people that can't buy the 35 one, they have a customized pillowcase, a little baby pillowcase and stuff like that. And they're like, that's cute. Like, I can't get the blanket right now. But then, you put a bundle together, you put that one, and you put the bigger blanket together. Now he's got 35. Now people that really love the blanket, I would like a king-size customized baby blanket or something. I don't know what it is, right? Or people that want a blanket that's made with silk. The silk blanket or Egyptian cotton blanket is $197, right? It's a customized Egyptian made by hand blanket. Will there be people to buy stuff like that? Yes, there will. They might be further to the less people, but it's more expensive. Then you can start dealing, these at the Westin here, they have their blankets cost $3,000 if you want to buy it. I don't think it's that expensive, but that's how much they sell it for. Do you think they have people buying that blanket at $3,000? Exactly, they do, right? It's not a lot, but it'll be somewhere down here. There's someone buying a Westin blanket for $3,000. It's Egyptian cotton. That's why it's so expensive. Okay, so it goes down the filter. Let me give you an example of a filter working the opposite, which is it's basically getting more cheaper. So the example of a person buying a Harley Davidson. Harley. Has anybody here bought a Harley? I was going to say BMW and stuff like that, but just give you the example. Harley is easy to explain. Harley Davidson bike costs how much? $20,000? I don't even know how much it costs, but let's say it's like $20,000. From the Harley Davidson, then what do you get? They're like, would you like air conditioner on your bike? Accessories, exactly. The accessory, your GPS is $2,000, right, for the GPS. And then would you like the biker jacket that says Harley on the back? Yeah, how much is that? That's $500. $500. Would you like to be part of the Harley, motorcycle club? Yeah. How much does it cost? It's $50 yearly membership. Okay, I'll take that. $50 Harley, club. As you can see, it's getting cheaper and cheaper. But if you've ever bought in a car, you know that they're doing that to you. You're starting from the higher price, and they're basically accessorizing you to death. They're going cheaper and cheaper. Would you like this upgraded window blade that's only $20 more expensive? And you're like, okay, why not? Right? It's getting down to like the pennies. They're just pumping in. Those are called organic sales, where you're making more money from the same person. If you look at, for example, let's say you do a seminar. Here in the seminar, you've come, you paid a tuition for it. How much more money are we basically like providing for you or taking from you at that point? Selling you things. Are you buying anything else? No, that's it. So are we doing organic sales? No. So we're not even practicing what we're talking about here, right? But we could. So for example, you'd start saying everybody came, they want to buy lunch, and then you start selling. Let's put your hand down. They want to buy lunch, And then you'd say, you know what, here's lunch. Would you like to add lunch for $15? Okay, here's that. What if we made a deal with the hotel? The hotel's rooms are $200. We got a deal where we're, for example, getting it $100, and we sell it to our participants. Would you like a room for $130? Stay at the hotel. I'm like, $130? It's being sold for $200. Now we made a deal with the hotel. And as you can see, now you start making money. And as they do that in the hotel, if you ever had experience in a hotel, they nickel and dime you. You know, your dinners, your room service. There's movies on the machine, that mini bar. You pull out a Pepsi when you're really thirsty and stuff like that, and your parking. So they'll get you in for, you know, that one room night, and then they'll just get cheaper and cheaper. They'll just funnel you all the way through. So each person that's going out is paying like $300 a night in addition. Not in a bad way. You need all of those things, inshallah ta'ala. All right, so your funnel, your activity is what is. Actually, something to keep in mind, some people will only buy from you if it is expensive. Some people will only buy from you if it's expensive, meaning that some people have this attitude that if you make it cheap, more people will buy. That's not true. Sometimes when you make it more expensive, that's the only way that they'll buy from you. So, for example, I once wanted to get some mentorship. There was a company that was doing mentorship, and I was very interested in it. And I found one of their coaches, and this coach says, you know, they have like a free session. I'm like, free session? I'm not interested anymore. I'm like, because if he's an amazing coach, why does he have time to give free sessions? I want to pay big bucks for a coach. I will only pay if it's in the 10,000 range, right? And you start gauging things by money. Another example of that, if you had, you know, there's some people here with glasses. Have you ever considered laser eye correction? I just hear it on the radio. You too? Laser eye correction? Laser eye correction? If I told you I can get you an amazing deal on laser eye correction for only $10 per eye, would you take it? Would you take it? Would you take it? Okay. But it's a really good deal, and it's a really good, you know, surge and stuff like that. You would not take it because there's certain things that you're only going to pay the premium price for. These are my eyes, okay? So you want to keep that in mind. Don't start giving out a product to people really cheap price. Sometimes your market will only pay for expensive stuff, and they're not going to just you throw out a system. Once basically they have no way of gauging whether your product is good or bad, so they will gauge it based on the price. That's usually how they'll determine based on the price. And there's many examples of that. Someone accidentally in a store, the lady said, reduce it by 50%. The lady misunderstood, increased the price by 50%, and everything was sold out. When she came back, she's like, you sold everything. She's like, yeah, I thought you said double the price. And so people only bought it when it was doubled. Okay? Keep that in mind. You can also, when you start, there's this tendency to put everything into one package. Okay? You might want to create multiple products. So if you have something, for example, some software that does 500 different things, and you're like, it's the ultimate software, it's the Swiss Army knife of software, okay? You might want to do this. Take things apart and make different software based on the different products. Right? So something for this, something for that, and sell them all separately. And once you sell them all separately, you've got a niche market for each product, and then you might tell someone after everything has been sold separately, then you would say, for $2,000, I will give you access to everything. One-time shot. Right from the very beginning, would you like access to everything, $2,000? And that's it. You'll never have to buy anything from me again. This is just one shot. And you get an all-inclusive, all of the above type of deal.